the EK. So we finally got that changed.
Well, I know Leon McCarroll, he told me that when he first met you, and he went to visit you at your class.
Yeah.
Which was, what, just a few years ago, yeah?
Yeah, about 8 years ago, I think.
8 years ago. And he said it was funny because he walked in and you said to your class, there was another art that I have never told you guys about that I was involved in.
Oh, yeah?
And yeah, he said it shocked him that all your students for all that time, you never mentioned the Kajukenbo. You were one of the founders of the Kajukenbo system.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was another art that I was a founder in with Professor Corrado. And I thought that was pretty interesting because 30 years went by and you never mentioned it.
Finally opened up.
Well, even when Ocean Jitsu was going, it was never really mentioned until Carol came to Arizona.
No, it was there already.
Yeah. Well, then when everybody started hearing his Kajukenbo, then my dad started talking about it. But before that,
Here's what happened with how Dion and I got together. See, I wanted to learn computer. So I went to the community college, you know, and to learn computer. Now everybody, at the beginning of the course, everybody would, one at a time would stand up, introduce themselves and what their hobbies are and so on about the family, you know. And this woman got up and says, oh, my name is so-and-so, and went through all the spiel about her hobby, and then she mentioned, and my son is a black belt in Kajukenbo. Wow, I went, what? Yeah, I said, my God, I didn't even knew that it was a Kajukenbo class in Tucson at that time. So when it came time for me to get up, I got up, I introduced myself, put all my spiels, and I turned to her and I said, by the way, I am one of the founders of Kajukenbo. And she went, wow. I said, well, no, I gotta tell my son, one of the founders are here. She got all excited. And then before you know it, along came Dion. And I got all excited. One of the founders of Kajukenbo is here. Because the only one everybody ever met was Professor Corrado.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then another thing, my young nephew in Honolulu got into Kajukenbo and trained in Kajukenbo for several years, and I didn't know this until I came home for a visit, and we started talking about the martial arts because they were in judo before, you know, when they were a little younger. And then we were talking about the martial arts. I said, what are you doing now, brother? He said, oh, uncle, I'm in Kajukenbo. I said, what? Yeah, I'm in Kajukenbo. I said, do you know that Uncle Peter and I are one of the founders of Kajukenbo? He got all excited. He got all excited that, you know, Uncle, I got to get my instructor here. I got to get him come and meet you. And that's when I found out that he was in Kajukenbo and his instructor came right over at that time. Peter, you weren't there, but I called you up later on to tell you about it. And his instructor came there and got all excited and he finally met another founder. Yeah. That was something.
Well, you know, you guys were real young when you created the art. Yeah. Now you look 40 years later.
Look at that.
Over here.
Amazing.
I think you should photograph this. I mean, have it take a show. How large now is the family of Kajukenbo, the tree.
There's 1,200 names on that right there.
I have it right there on the film.
Would you mind holding it up toward the camera?
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Hold them up.
You
This
can
is,
show.
this is the Kajukenbo family tree.
Yeah.
That's not completed.
Gigantic. All what you see on this sheet here is all black belt, nothing but black belt.
And it's not even completed, obviously.
No, there's more.
Much more.
Much more.
Plenty more, brother. Some guys is still hiding in the hole. Come out at night like cockroaches.
Well, Professor Chu is one of the more, frisky guys. Quick, yeah? Quick to, he likes to fight.
Yeah.
Rough and ready or something like
Why too?
that. Yeah. So, he just almost denied it a little bit ago. I was wondering if anybody could give me a good story to verify that.
Himself. It happened.
Yeah, tell them about those sailors. Tell them about those, I don't know, about 5 or 6 sailors that came out
Anyway,
anyway.
it's 1950. My wife was working as usher at a collegiate theater in Honolulu, and I had a little Model A hot rod. So I had it parked, and there was 7 sailors who needed a parking space. So Model A being late, and so forth, we just moved it out in the middle of the street off the car, so I went up, waiting for the wife. I said, what's happening? Hey, by the way, mate, that's my car. I said, so what? I said, well, put it back. And I says, you and who else? That was it. 4 of them went down. It was probably within 60 seconds. I was in pretty good shape. So, and the rest, 4 and 3 of them ran into their cars.
Roll up their windows.
Yeah, and one of them was really bleeding. My wife comes out, and what he is, how? And all this noise is going on there. And oh, no, there goes my husband. But anyway, then when she came out, it wasn't so funny. She seen this guy bleeding. She went there and slapped his face and got him revived. And what happened while I was chasing the other 3 into the car, here comes this guy in the back of him. And well, then he went over. I gave him the honey bush. He went over the car and landed in the middle of the road. And the half Hawaiian Armed Forces Service police came over. It was called by the manager of the theater. They came over, and the guy that was in the car, I guess he was a spokesman, chief or some sort, came out and says, Sergeant, I'm charging the fellow with assault and battery. And says, what's his gang? I walked up, and they didn't know that was a master sergeant in the U.S. Army. So I told them I was a master sergeant, and I had no gang. And I'm just myself. Took the 7 guys in the wagon. I don't know what I got from them.
You took them up the elevator.
And then bop them up. Billy, give me a...
So, there you see an indication of judo, what you did with came into play, as well as boxing and karate came into play. You had a beautiful hanigoshi.
Yeah, the hanigoshi, when the guy came back, and then I gave him the hanigoshi, it was right over, and it was reflex action. As soon as the guy touched, I knew he was. But then, that was 40 some odd years ago, and I'm like 7 years old now.
Easier. So, what about this gentleman here? You got any good ones about him?
What? What about?
Could you pause?
One of the finest street fighter there was in Palahatown area. Tell me your story there.
They heard all my stories on that. All my stories.
Okay.
That's it.
No,
not yet.
No, remember, Peter, the last time we got we were in Tucson, we talked, and then when you came home, you told me a story about going to the armory, have some showdown. Remember that one?
Oh yeah, John Brown and Reno Bellera.
Yeah.
Some that John Brown for Papa Colea, right? Reno was from Waiwan. But Reno was the strong arm man for Hotshot, the gambler, right? So John Brown came and see me. He told me, I could back him up. I said, why? He said, because you're going to have it out with Reno Bellera on the armory. So I thought, yeah, okay. So all Marino, all us guys went there, and we stood up, and the 2 guys were down below in Armory, and he had his guy on the other side. So Reno didn't know I was there. So when they started to beat, Reno got the best of John Brown. John Bond was about 6 feet, somebody your size, yeah. Then after that, Benvino saw me, he goes, wow. And then he said, what, you backing him up or what? Come here. He said, oh, okay, let's call it off. And then they took off. Yeah. Not too bad, somebody bumped him off.
That's a good ending.
Yeah, they bumped him off.
What about,
It's just like even Ross Down at that time, you know, on Lillian Street, they had Lillian's Cafe over there. Lillian's Bar. So one of the guys came, my brother-in-law came, Pedro, came over and told me, oh, this Ross Down are pushing him around. And Ross Down was a boxer, right? And that he's asking for protection money. So I said, where is that now? He said, oh, he's on Lillian's Bar at Lillian Street, next to the Yappies, way down, right by Kufui. So I said, after this training, all those guys go down. So when we stayed across the Filipino church over there, we stood in Lenin's Bar across the street. And one of the guys from the checking, Russ Dharma, was there. Russ Dharma was a good fighter. He fought David Kajukenbo a couple of times for a territorial champion, right?
World champion.
Yeah. Then he came out. Then he saw all us guys, then he started to go like that. Then he looked, wow. And then somebody told him something. He said, I don't want no trouble. I don't want no trouble. That's it. He never bothered my brother-in-law anymore. You know the clan, you know? Yeah.
What can you tell us about Professor Chang, Clarence Chang?
Well, I don't know much about him. But all I know that he was the writer, right?
Yeah, he was a writer.
And then Frank was the photographer.
Yeah. And it was in between there was a Thomas Koyama that used to he helped him.
Thomas Toyama.
Thomas Koyama.
Toyama or Koyama?
Koyama.
Toyama.
Oyama. Which one? Mas.
No, it's
No.
Masoyama. Masoyama's name is Chang. He's a Korean.
Oh yeah, he adopted the name, the Japanese name.
Yeah, well, he lived in Japan, and he was the one that punched
Still a bull,
yeah,
yeah.
bull. I was there inviting seats.
How did Clarence Chang come into the group of the Black Belt Society then?
You can do it.
I think the only person would know, because I think that was Frank brought in Clarence Chang, right?
Yeah, I think so. But Clarence's primary job was to,
write down all the techniques.
yeah.
Right. You see, after we had kind of split up, Frank was staying at Cupcake Street. Cupcake?
Cupcake Street, right up.
Right on the corner, right?
Corner, right.
Underneath the house, he showed me trunks, all the photographs and documents of all that. So I don't know what happened to it now.
Sounds like we need an expedition.
I don't know. That's why, you know, like if we call Frank, I don't know what happened, man.
Like the Dead Sea Scroll.
Yeah. Hey, that guy, even though he wasn't working and he was under welfare, he still was developing pictures and all that, right? And he make them big too, you know.
He was working with Al Chang, the famous photographer.
Yeah.